Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm back again with another video. Today I want to talk about flagship device or budget device. Now, I don't think this is a real tricky subject or anything like that. You just have people that are not willing to spend over 200 or even over $300 for a device. They just needed to do the basics and they're cool with that. But then you have others that want to be on the cutting edge of technology. They want the best of the best. They want the best performance, best camera, best build quality, best features. You know, you have people like that. Now, I have here two different phones made by the same company. You got the Redmi Note 11 Pro, which is here, and the Mi 11 Ultra here, made by Xiaomi. Both are made by Xiaomi. But this is a budget phone. Right now, you can find it at GizTop for $259. And you have the Mi 11 Ultra. You can find it between $899 and $1399. So this is the premium device. Now, should you go budget or premium? It's up to you. Everybody's different. Like I said, I just gave the reasons. Some people are just not willing to spend a ton of money on a device. Some people are willing, depending on what they want. Now, let me say this. Budget phones have come a long way from where they first started. Back in the day, budget phones was pretty much crap. Now, they was pretty much for the people that they just wasn't into technology like that. They just needed a good phone, that was going to work and do the simple, basic things, and they were cool with that. But then you have, of course, the other phones, which are the premium flagship device, the best of the best for those companies. Want to give you the best features, best cameras, best build quality, best performance, best design, things like that. And those phones always seem to cost, always end up costing a lot more money. But as we've seen over the years, as time has progressed, phones have gotten more and more expensive. Now, phones cost, in some cases, over $2,000, which I think is utterly ridiculous. It really is, because these devices depreciate pretty quickly. They really do. After they're out a little while, next thing you know, $200 off, $300 off, $400 off, because most people are not going to pay those ridiculous prices for these devices. These devices depreciate just like cars do. Right after you drive off the lot, you already lost a few $1,000s. So I don't see any reason why anybody would want to spend over $1,000, especially not $2,000, or for a phone. I just don't get it. Now, I've paid $1,000 for a phone maybe I think twice, and I vowed never to do that again. Never ever, because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Especially a year later, that same phone that I paid $1,000 for is going for like 600, and that makes me very angry. And it should make you angry if you wanted that device and you ended up paying all that money, and then a year later, it's like $600-700 cheaper, and all you had to do was just wait for the price to drop. So, to me, premium devices are not worth that much money. They're not worth over $1,000. I would not pay over $1,000. I'll never pay over $1,000 for a premium device ever again. I just won't do it. I'll wait for that price to come down, and I'll get it for a price that I want. Now, of course, you have those people that are, get their phones, through a carrier. Most people do that and make the payments, but still, you're still going to end up paying full price for that device, and it's just not worth it. It just isn't. So I'm going to deal with a few categories as the difference between these phones. Now, I'm just going to try to prove to you, paying over $1,000 for a phone, those days are over. You don't have to. You could get a good quality budget phone that's just as good as a premium device, and you can pay hundreds of dollars less. Okay? Now, the categories I'm going to go over, first I'm going to start with the price, build quality, design, display, battery life, battery charging speeds, speakers, audio, performance, cameras, and features and accessories. All right, so let's first start off with the price. Now, I just mentioned just a few minutes ago, $259 for the Redmi Note 11 Pro and $899 to $1,400 for the Mi 11 Ultra. Okay, very, very expensive device. Now, it's a great device, don't get me wrong, but that is a very expensive device. Now, when it comes to build quality, you got Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and back with the Redmi Note 11 Pro, and you got Gorilla Glass Victus on the front of the Mi 11 Ultra and a ceramic back. Both of these devices feel very, very premium. I have no issue with Gorilla Glass 5 because it's held up well on other phones that I've used, and it's very much scratch resistant. Like, it does not scratch. I got phones that got Gorilla Glass 5 I've had for years, and I have zero scratches on them. Like, not even micro scratches. So Gorilla Glass 5 is excellent. Now, Gorilla Glass Victus has also been great. No micro scratches. It's held up well. And this is the first time I've had a phone that had a ceramic back. Makes the phone a little more heavy, but I like a good heavy phone. Feels very premium. Only downfall with this device is that it's a glossy back and the phone is super slippery. I mean, there's no way I could ever navigate this phone without a case. It's impossible. I would drop it constantly. It's like holding a wet bar of soap in your hand. This phone, however, has some like a matte finish on the back. And as you can see, it's a little bit wider than that of the Mi 11 Ultra. But this phone, you can definitely rock it without a case and don't even worry about it, honestly. It feels very, very durable, and it's not super slippery. All right, so next thing, let's talk about design. Now, of course, design is always going to be subjective, okay? So you got the design of the Note 11 here, and of course, you got the design of the Mi 11 Ultra. I like both designs, but if I had to choose, I would go with the design of the Mi 11 Ultra only because it's just so different. There's not another device out there like this, and I love this secondary display back here. As you can see, the time, the date, your battery percentage, and not only that, you can also answer and decline phone calls, get notifications, use it as a viewfinder, take photos with it. You can also control your media with it. So you can do a lot with this, this display in the rear. And of course, you got these three main cameras in the back. On this, you have 4 cameras on the back, and this takes, pretty good pictures. But when it comes to design, if I had to choose, I'm going with the Mi 11 Ultra only because it's very unique, and there's not another, it's not another phone out there that looks like this phone. It just says that this phone has the biggest camera module on any phone on the market right now. So design is always going to be subjective because it depends on what you like and what you don't like. But for me, I would go with the Mi 11 Ultra when it comes to design. Now, let's talk about display. Now, both of these displays on both of these devices are great. Turn them on so you can see. So, you have a full HD plus AMOLED display on the Note 11. And it also has 120 hertz refresh rate, 450 nits brightness. With the Mi 11 Ultra, you got a Quad HD plus 120 hertz display. It's actually beautiful. Also, 1700 nits peak brightness, 120 hertz refresh rate. So both of these devices are beautiful. They both have AMOLED displays. Okay, both 120 hertz. This is just full HD. This is Quad HD. But they both look phenomenal. They both look great. This one is going to be brighter. It's the premium device, 1700 nits brightness. But when it comes to just how they look overall, they kind of look the same to me, even though this one looks a little bit better. It's a little bit brighter, maybe a tad bit sharper. But for the most part, they pretty much look the same. I mean, they're both phenomenal. They're both great. I love them both. Now, the camera cutout on the Note 11, on the Redmi Note 11 Pro, looks a little smaller than that of the camera cutout on the Mi 11 Ultra. It's hard to tell now because of this, because of where it's sitting, because of the wallpaper, but this actually looks a little smaller. So for those of you that don't like the cutout, now I prefer it in the middle like it is on here as opposed to over to the left, but some people prefer it over to the left, but I prefer it in the middle just for symmetry. But when it comes to display, you're not going to have a problem with the Redmi. This display is not really inferior to that of the Mi 11 Ultra. Not at all. Not at all. Next, let's talk about battery life. Now, with the Redmi Note 11 Pro, 5,160 milliamp battery. And with the Mi 11 Ultra, 5,000 milliamp battery. Now, I don't understand why a budget phone has a larger battery than a premium device. Makes no sense. This is over $1,000. This is $259, and it has a bigger battery. And not only that, this battery lasts longer. 3 days from the Redmi Note 11 Pro. I'm getting a day and a half, sometimes 2 days with the Mi 11 Ultra. So you're going to get better battery life on the budget device over the premium device. Keep that in mind. Battery charging speeds. Both of these devices have 67-watt super fast charging. So they charge exactly the same. 0 to 100% in 36 minutes. Okay? The very same. Same. Now, think about that. This is a over $1,000 device. This is a $259 device, and they both charge the same. The difference is also, which is really good for this device, is that the charger comes in the box. With the Mi 11 Ultra, over $1,000, no charger in the box at all, not even a charging cable. You just get the phone. That's it. But with this phone, you're going to get the case in the charging brick in the box. 67-watt super fast charging brick in the box. $259. Same charging capacity, same charging speeds. Keep that in mind as we go. Next, let's talk about speakers. Both have dual stereo speakers, but the Redmi Note 11 Pro is tuned by JBL. The Mi 11 Ultra is tuned by Harman Kardon. Which speakers sound the best to me? It's an easy win for the Redmi Note 11 Pro. I'm telling you right now, these are by far the loudest speakers that I have on any smartphone. And they're not just louder, but the sound quality is excellent. Great stereo sound. Now, don't get me wrong. The Mi 11 Ultra don't have no bad speakers, but they're just not as loud and full as the Redmi Note 11 Pro. These speakers will blow you away. Sometimes these speakers are so loud, I have to turn it down. And I like, when I'm watching movies, I like everything full blast. But sometimes, depending on what content I'm watching, I literally have to turn these speakers down. I never do that with the Mi 11 Ultra. But these speakers do sound great. But these speakers are just better, in my opinion. All right? Let's move on. Audio. Both have the 24-bit high-res audio. But I would say on this that the Mi 11 Ultra sounds a little bit better. However, you got a headphone jack on the Redmi Note 11 Pro. No headphone jack on the Mi 11 Ultra. Next, let's talk about performance. Both of these phones perform excellently. Seriously, okay? This has a MTK with Dimensity 920 octa-core processor. This has the Snapdragon 888. I don't even know what that means. It don't even matter. But I'm telling you right now, the Redmi Note 11 Pro easily keeps up with the Mi 11 Ultra. It's not a struggle at all. It's by milliseconds. If not, some stuff is actually the same. And at times, this open up apps faster than the Mi 11 Ultra. Keep in mind the price of this device. Keep in mind the price of this device. Okay? This budget phone easily keeps up with this device when it comes to performance. Next, let's talk about cameras. Now, you got 4 cameras on the back with the Note 11 Pro. You got a 108 megapixel. Yes, I did say that. 108 megapixel wide, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro lens, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor with LED flash. Okay. Now with video, you can only shoot in 1080p at 30 frames per second. So there's no 1080p at 60 and there's no 4K. Keep that in mind. And of course, no optical image stabilization, no super steady video. Now, it doesn't take bad video, but you got to have a steady hand because it has no OIS. Okay, you got to keep that in mind. Now, with the front camera, you're getting a 16 megapixel wide that shoots also in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now, I'll tell you right now, just look at my full review for the Note 11 Pro. The pictures that this phone produces are great to me. I mean, they're excellent daytime or nighttime. The video, like I said, is the only thing that can be a little suspect, a little choppy, a little shaky. You got to have steady hands. But other than that, when it comes to just basically photos, these photos on this phone is great to me, honestly. Now, let's talk about the Mi 11 Ultra. So you got 3 cameras on the rear with this device. You got a 50 megapixel wide dual pixel with laser autofocus, a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto lens with optical image stabilization, 5 times optical zoom, and 120 times hybrid zoom. So you could zoom into something 120 times. Most people are not going to do that, but if you needed to see something real far away, you'll be able to do that with this device. Also a 48 megapixel ultra wide with dual LED flash. When it comes to video, shoots at 8K at 24 frames per second, 4K at 30 and 60, 1080p at 30 and 60, and on the front, it has a 20 megapixel wide that shoots at 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. So clearly, this has better cameras. But for the average person that just want really, really good photos, I'm telling you, you're not going to have an issue with this phone at all. Okay? It's not like this phone is leaps and bounds and light years ahead of this phone when it comes to photos. No. Look at my full review with my pictures for this phone and look at my full reviews for the photos and videos on this phone, and you'll see the difference is not like night and day. It's just not. Okay? I'm telling you, it's not. So if you want a device that's going to give you great photos, you can't go wrong with either. Now, let's talk about features. Now, of course, unfortunately for me, because this is what I like on my devices. When it comes to always on display, you're not getting an always on display with your Note 11 Pro. Of course, you do with the Mi 11 Ultra. Next thing, when it comes to face unlock, the face unlock is super fast on both of these devices. They're even when it comes to face unlock. Now, with the fingerprint sensor, you have the Redmi Note 11 Pro is built into the power button is on the side. But when I tell you 100% accurate and super fast, I mean, you can see that. Listen, look at that. It's crazy. 100% accurate and instantaneously opens up this phone. I'm telling you, you'll love the fingerprint sensor on this device, no question about it. Mi 11 Ultra, you have an in-display optical fingerprint sensor right here. And it's pretty fast. I mean, I think the Redmi is a little faster, but this is fast too now. Don't get it twisted. You can see how fast this opens. And I'm just tapping it. I'm not tapping and holding like you do on the Google Pixel. All I'm doing is tapping and it opens up immediately. So when it comes to fingerprint sensor, both are excellent. But to me, now, this is not always 100%. It's more like a 99%, 98 to 99%. This is 100%. Easily 100%. And some people might like it on the side. Like when you pick the phone up and just tap it with your thumb, as opposed to picking up the phone and then trying to make sure you find. First of all, on here, you can't see it all the time like you can on Samsung devices, the fingerprint sensor. But when you raise it, it'll light up, or if you tap it, it'll light up, or if you just know where it's at, you can hit it. But like I said, you can't go wrong with either, but this one is just a tad bit faster and it's 100% accurate. And keep in mind, $259 for this device. Next, let's talk about the IR Blaster. What is that? IR Blaster, for those that may not know, it's a universal remote control where you can control your TV and other things that have an infrared sensor on it. And I'm not talking about just the TV. I'm talking about a whole lot of things, but I don't want to get into too much detail with that because I want to keep things kind of moving as quickly as I can. But a universal remote control is in both. This is over $1,000. This is less than 300, and you got the same thing in both. So that's an A+ to me. With Xiaomi, what they did, that's excellent. I'm glad they did that. Next, let's talk about wireless charging. Now, the Mi 11 Ultra does have wireless charging, 67 watt super fast wireless charging, which is pretty awesome because it charges from 0 to 100% in 39 minutes. So that's pretty awesome. For those of you that's into wireless charging, which I am into, so that's something that I love about this device. I love wireless charging. It's really cool when you can just take your phone, sit it on a stand. You can see the time, like if you wake up in the middle of the night, like I do every night, glance over at the time to see what time it is. I can easily see it. And the phone is charging at the same time. Wake up in the morning, just take it off. I don't have to unplug anything. I love that. I love the convenience of wireless charging. And the fact that it's the same speed as the wired charging. So that's pretty awesome. Now, with the Redmi Note 11 Pro, unfortunately, no wireless charging. Now, for the average consumer, you probably don't even care about that. But for those of you that care, it's on the Mi 11 Ultra. Now, there is a phone that's called the Blue G 91 Pro. That's $200 that does have wireless charging. So I don't know why Xiaomi didn't put that on this phone. They should have, because if a $200 phone could have wireless charging, a $259 phone could have wireless charging as well. For those of you that care about that. Next thing, reverse wireless charging, otherwise known as power share. So you're getting that on the Mi 11 Ultra. Of course, you're not getting that on the Note 11 Pro. You're just not, okay? That's to give you ability to charge a smartphone, also charge a smartwatch, and also some wireless earbuds. That's the option you have with having reverse wireless charging. Next, let's talk about second space. Now, second space is similar to secure folder. Basically, it's like having two phones in one. You could use a different fingerprint to open up second space, and it's basically like having two phones in one. Both of these devices have second space, so that's cool. Next, let's talk about expandable storage. Now, with the Redmi Note 11 Pro, you are getting expandable memory. I believe, I'm not sure of the capacity, but I did put a 256 gig card in there, and it definitely worked with no problem. But I have to put a 500 card in there and see if, what the capacity is, because I really don't know how far it goes up, but I know 256 gigs, it works. But this has expandable memory for those of you that prefer a device where you could expand the storage, because now this does come with 128 gigs for the base model, and they do have a 256 gig other variant too. It's a 8 gig 256 gig variant. Okay, now this has 6 gigs of RAM, and this has 12 gigs of RAM. I forgot to mention the RAM, but 6 gigs of RAM is like the sweet spot, and of course 8 gigs of RAM is better, but you'll be fine with 6 gigs. The 12 gigs of RAM on here is awesome, don't get me wrong, but the RAM management on this phone is not the best. That's just been my experience. But no expandable memory with the Mi 11 Ultra. I don't like that. Over $1,000 device, and you can't give me expandable storage, but you could put it on a budget phone. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like that. Next, let's talk about headphone jack. You are getting a headphone jack on the Redmi Note 11 Pro. You don't get one on the Mi 11 Ultra. $259, $1,400. Makes no sense to me at all. None. Why is it that they can give a budget device a headphone jack and expandable storage, but they can't put it on a premium device? I don't understand that, and I don't like that at all. All right, in the rear display, not a big deal to talk about that, but that's this display right here. Of course, the Redmi Note 11 not going to have that, and most people ain't going to care about that anyway. Most people don't have their phone down like that. They're going to have it up. So that's not a big deal, but it's something I had to point out with, the difference between the premium and the budget. And the next thing, okay, that was the last thing as far as features, okay? Now, that's not all the features that's, in the phone. Of course, the phone has more features, but I just want to touch on like the main things that are important to me. And of course, there's features built into the phone, like screen recording and things like that. So both of these are loaded with a lot of features, honestly. And this may have a little bit more, but both of them are loaded with features. Like, there's no way you're going to get this device and you're going to be bored with it. You open it up to the settings, and there's settings all over the place, things you could change. Both are great, heavily customizable, and both have plenty of features for you to have fun with both devices. Now, let's talk quickly about accessories. Now, when it comes to accessories, this matters to me, and it used to matter to these different manufacturers. Of course, when it comes to the premium devices, they don't give a crap about the consumer anymore. All they do is give you a box with the phone, and that's it. But with the Redmi Note 11 Pro, you're getting a set of headphones, a 67-watt super fast charging brick and cable, a case, a screen protector, and a microfiber cleaning cloth. That's what you're getting in the... No, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm thinking about the Blue G91S. What you're getting here is a case and the 67-watt charger in the box. Okay, I'm thinking about the Blue G91, the Blue G91S that I just did just the other day, so I got confused. But you're getting a case and you're getting a charger. When it comes to the Mi 11 Ultra, all you're getting is the box and the phone. You're not even getting a cable. But if you get this through Giztop, if you're the type of person that want a premium device, they will give you the charger as a free gift. But standalone, if you get it from somewhere else, all you're getting is a case and that's it. No charging cable, and you get the phone. So that's disappointing. Now, all the accessories I just named, that's what's in the box for the Blue G91 Pro and the Blue G91 S. You're getting all of those accessories. So when it comes down to value, you're going to get better value with the Redmi Note 11 Pro with a budget phone, okay? Because the build quality is top rate. The display is excellent. The battery life is excellent. The dual stereo speakers are excellent. The build quality is excellent. The cameras, in my opinion, are great, except the video can be a little shaky. That's about it. And and the performance is great. So why am I going to spend $1,400 on this when I'm pretty much getting everything I need on this? And I'm getting expandable storage and a headphone jack and the charger in the box. And the charging is just as fast on this phone as it is on this phone. Now, of course, with this phone, you're getting all the bells and whistles. You're getting better cameras, but you're not getting better battery life. You are getting a slightly better display because it's brighter, but slightly. They look almost similar, except this one gets considerably brighter and a little sharper. The speakers are not as good as this device. There's no headphone jack, no expandable storage. However, you do get fast wired charging, wireless charging, and reverse wireless charging for those of you that's important to. And also you're getting the latest Gorilla Glass Victus and you get a ceramic back. But it's not like this phone blows this phone away, and you get more RAM. But this phone is not blowing this phone away, not by any stretch of the imagination. This phone easily competes with this device. I'm telling you, easily. And you're paying hundreds of dollars less. $259, between $900 and $1,400 for this. Now, y'all tell me which phone has the most value. Now, I'm not telling you not to go out and buy a premium device. If you could afford it and you think it's worth it, go out and buy your premium phone and be happy with it. Now, I'm particularly a premium device guy. I prefer premium. But the only reason why it's not as premium and flagship like it used to be is because they're not giving you anything. Like Samsung is constantly keep taking things away. Micro SD card support, they didn't improve with this. And I'm talking about their latest phone. With the S22 Ultra, they did not improve the wireless charging. They didn't improve the reverse wireless charging. They took away SD card support. They won't give you a case. They won't give you a charger. They won't give you a charging brick. They won't give you a case. No headphones. And then 8 gigs of RAM as opposed to 12 gigs last year. And also, on top of that, they're charging you more money. So every year you're getting less, but you're paying more. I just don't get why people are so quick to jump on these things and pay these astronomical prices for these premium devices when you're not getting true value for it. It's just not worth it. Now, if you're trading in something and you're getting $800-900 off the price, then I say, okay, so you end up getting a device for like $600-700. That's worth it. Okay, that's worth it if you can live without having an SD card slot, which a lot of people like. If you're okay without having a charger in the box, if you're okay with that, then God bless you. I'm just not buying no phone that's that expensive with nothing in the box. I'm just not doing it. And these are going to be the new norm. Away with it's just not worth it to me anymore to spend this kind of money when you can get a phone that's just as good in most areas except for the cameras and pay hundreds of dollars less and spend your other money on something that you really need it for. So, budget or premium, that's up to you, but you're going to get more value out of a budget device nowadays. That wasn't always the case, but nowadays you're getting way better value with a budget phone. The two budget phones that I highly recommend is this phone. Now you just got to check to make sure to work with your carrier. All you got to do is call your carrier and ask them if this phone will work, because this is not unlocked for all carriers. That's the only thing that's a little bit of a downfall for this particular device. But the Blue G91 will work on most carriers. The Blue G91 Pro. So the Blue G91 Pro and the Redmi Note 11 Pro, I highly recommend both of these devices. The Blue G91 Pro was $200. This is $259. You can find us on giztop.com, but the Blue G91 Pro, you can find it on amazon.com. But if you're a premium person, you got to have the cutting edge of technology. You got to have the best of the best. You got to have the best camera, best display, best performance, blah, blah, blah. Then be prepared to spend between $900 and $1,400 for this device. So thank you very much for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. It was not my intention for this to be this long, but thank you all for those that stuck around, for sticking around to see this to the end. Please hit that subscribe button. Give me a like if you like this content, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop more content. Hope you all are doing well and staying safe, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.